a special guest in here today. His name is Jeremy Hart, aka J Hart the Engineer, and he's from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. He just turned 29 years old, March 2nd. So happy belated birthday. And guess what, y'all? He is known all over Atlanta as the audio engineering and broadcasting guy. I mean, he's working with the Hawks, the Braves. He's helping me out with my stuff, with the Dream. Man, he's doing it all. So I guess I definitely wanted to bring him in just to hear his perspective and the things that he's doing. So, Jeremy, you know my first question is, what you got going on these days? What's going on with you, man?
Not too much. Thanks for the introduction. Really nothing too much. Like she said, I work for Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I work for Atlanta Hawks. I do stuff with her for the Dream. I do dang, Angel, what else do I do? I've worked the Super Bowl. I just worked the Super Bowl, which she was at too. That was kind of cool. I don't know. It's just I don't know. Anything that I put my mind to, if I say I'm going to do it, that's pretty much how things go. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, but let's go back then, Jeremy. You know, you said anything you put your mind to, that's pretty much what you've created and what you've done in your career. But let's go back to the beginning. Everything wasn't always that way. So tell me how you got to where you are now, and when you weren't at this stage, what was life like? What was your thinking like? Were you motivated? Tell me what was going on, man.
All right, that's a good question. So, like, you want me to go back, or you want me to just go back?
Let's take it back. Let's do it.
All right, so, like you said, I'm originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. How all this came about is music was always surfacing through my life, through Friday night dances in the kitchen with my mom, to singing in chorus 6th through 8th grade, to watching the movie Drumline and getting inspired by Nick Cannon to play, you know what I'm saying, on the drumline from 9th to 12th, and then, you know, playing in the band at A&T. But from there is when I was like, all right, I really need to start figuring out what I really want to do. This was at age 21. Age 22 to 23, I was still working a dead-end job. Well, I was doing like a warehouse job over at Dell, helping them like put modems and stuff in computers. And I was just like, you know what? My purpose in life is way bigger than what I'm doing right now. So I have to figure out what that is. So age 24, Cinco de Mayo, I moved to Myrtle Beach with my uncle. I stayed there for the summer. And I remember this thing like it was yesterday. I tell the same speech to the kids that I go and speak to over at SAE, which is an audio engineering school down here in Atlanta, that I attended and graduated in 2016. I was walking, I think it was a Chevron or a Shell, whichever one. I was walking up to the Shell. I always got a strawberry melon brisk tea. They was like, I think like $1 back in 2000 and dang, when was that? 2014. And I remember getting that, paying in change, and I was walking, and it was like a light bulb effect. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything.
So I'm cutting you off there. So you walking down the street one day, and you're like, hey, you know what? This is not what my life is about. And then something just hit you.
Right. It was like I got stopped in my tracks, and I was like, I know what I want to do. I know exactly what I want to do. I need to move to Orlando. I'm going to go to Full Sail. I'm going to bartend my way through school. I already knew what apartment I was going to stay at. And I said, you know what, for these 2 years, because that was my thing. My thing was, you know what, Jeremy, you don't have any responsibility. Every 2 years, you're going to move somewhere different, and we're just going to figure out the world that way. Because I had 5 places that I wanted to move, right? Which was Atlanta was one, Florida was one, LA was one, and if LA didn't work, I wanted to move to Colorado. I don't know where Colorado came from. And then it was just like, you know what? I'm just going to move to Brazil, somehow find a way to get a beach house, and just smoke cigars, Cuban cigars, and watch Brazilian girls walk by my you know what I'm saying, my beach house, right? So I end up moving to Atlanta, and it just kind of it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. I was trying to figure it out. A good friend of mine, Stace Lloyd, he was in the studio at Icon Studios here in Atlanta, off of Studio Row, and he would bring me around, and that's where I met, the Grammy-nominated producer Kid Class. I ended up meeting him. He told me about SAE, and then I went to SAE, and then that's how I started meeting my network. You know.
So before all that, in school, did you actually major in audio engineering and things like that?
Nah, I went to A&T for professional theater.
Wow. So your major had nothing to do with all this technical stuff you do now.
No.
So you just came to Atlanta and you just kind of picked up on it on your own?
Well, like again, I said, like music was instilled into me to when I was a baby, to when dancing and learning these old songs.
Okay, that's two different things. Listen to music. We all listen to music. But to be able to record it, mix it, find the audio effects, create the sound, hear the sound, that's two totally different things.
Well, how that came about, while I was in school, a teacher of mine, Lamar, he said, we are the ones that make Young Thugs sound like this. And I was like, hold on, wind that back. So you telling me that on this laptop in Pro Tools, I am the creator of the sound of people? He said yes. And ever since then, I've been hitting the ground running. I was doing mixes for free. I was recording people for free. It's just, I love the fact that I was in control of the sound and making people sound cool, because I used to be like, you know what, they should have done that. If they would have done that, it would have made this part sound like this. So, I mean, as a child, I was always engineering music, but never knew that I was engineering, you know what I mean? So now to be able to say that I engineer, it's crazy.
Okay, so let's go back to that day that it just hit you. And you said, I'm moving 3 places. So after you figure out those 3 places, Atlanta was one of them. You just got up and just moved to Atlanta?
Well, how that worked, my girl was like, you know what, you should move down to Atlanta, because, at that time we had a distance relationship. I was in Myrtle Beach, and she moved back to Atlanta. And I was like, all this commuting that we doing, I said, do you think, are you ready for me to move down there? She was like, yeah. So I moved down here, and I used to just ride by, like, my first journey through downtown, I'm looking at the buildings like, yo, this is so crazy. Like, Atlanta is beautiful. Like, how can I be one of these people inside these buildings? Like, how can I be one of these buildings? Like, what do I need to do? Who do I need to meet to be inside of these buildings? And at that time, I was valeting cars, still valeting cars at this time. I could barely pay my mortgage. It's just, I was just following this dream that I thought couldn't be conquered. And I was like, something has to give. Something has to give. So I kept valeting cars. I just started to learn everything about audio, and I was talking to my career service advisor. I would talk to him every day. Like, I wanted him to know who I was, what I did, where I lived. I wanted him to know everything about me, just in case if anything happened, I was the first person on the gig. But I don't know. I really don't know how all of this happened. I was just bouncing around from job to job to job, just experiencing different audio stuff. I started at Crew One, and then from Crew One I went to Spectrum. And then from Spectrum I went to VER, and then from VER, Mercedes-Benz Stadium gave me my first big break.
Wow. That is amazing. It's funny because I was actually in church the other day, and I remember this just stuck with me. The pastor said, a dream isn't about falling asleep. A dream is when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't sleep. That's a dream. Or something just hits you. You're not asleep when you're dreaming, when you're really dreaming. So it seemed like you created that dream. You were walking down the street, it just hit you, and you actually got up and you did it. A lot of people are really scared to step out that comfort zone and to do the things that you've done. And I mean, if you would have said, "Nah, I can't move to Atlanta. I don't know anybody there," you wouldn't have had the big breaks you've had. So, what is a message that you can give to the kids so that they can step out their comfort zone? You know, they can get out the neighborhood that they're used to and just go for their dream, that big dream, like you're doing right now.
Well, the message that I can give to them is you can dream the dream, but I mean, it's easy to dream the dream. The hardest thing to do is living that dream. And how you do that is if you say you want to, you know what, I want to go be a doctor. All you have to do is start applying yourself as a doctor, and doctor things will start to come your way. You know what I mean? So basically how I did mine, I said, you know what, I want to excel in this business. How do I do it? So I just started putting things into existence. I said, all right, so when I got the job at Mercedes, I was like, I want to work for the Hawks, or I want to work for Turner Broadcasting. I said, how do I do that? I started I started listening. I started observing with people who used to work there. I used to be like, all right, where do these people hang out? And I end up getting a job over at Turner Broadcasting because I applied myself and said I wanted to do it. Every day I said, I don't know how I'm going to get over there, but I'm going to get over there. I ended up getting over there. And then from there, I went to the Hawks. And from the Hawks, I went to Georgia State. And from Georgia State, I went to touring and doing shows. And from touring and doing shows, I ended up landing other gigs. And then from there, I ended up working the Super Bowl. It's just, if I say I'm going to do something, I always do it. So the biggest thing I could say is take the risk, because if you don't take the risk, you'll never know what living is like. You know what I mean? So I say this to say, I say that to say this. It's easy. No, it's fun, but I never said it would be easy. Like me being, in business for myself for 2 years, it wasn't easy. I know people see all the accolades and all the stuff that I'm doing, like, oh man, this is so cool, but nobody actually sees the grind up under that. Like I learned this from my teacher. Like the iceberg is the iceberg that hit the Titanic. What we saw was Beyonce. Beyonce is like the visual Titanic, but no one ever sees the bigger picture under that iceberg, which is the business.
Right. I remember listening to Kevin Hart, and he said, people just look at my success and they don't know this took 10 years in the works, in the making. How long did it take you, would you say it took you to really get here? Like you said, it wasn't easy, it was tough. Great things are happening for you now, but how long did it really, really take for you to get to where you are right now?
Uh, Probably a year and a half today.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
It's pretty quick because well, I almost lost my relationship over that because I was so focused on I need to do this. I need to do this. I didn't care about anything else. But I mean, obviously now I don't have the same mindset, but back then it was I'm new to this city. It's a lot of stuff in this city that I want. It's a lot of stuff in this city that I want to do because I'm going to get this from this city. So I want to be able to give back to the city that's given to me. And then I want to go back home and do this. So yeah, a year and a half, I was able to land, the job at Mercedes and all those other places. And, I always praise everybody over at Mercedes because they are the people that gave me my first break. They taught me about freelancing. They taught me about everything that I know today and that I take and that I speak into the kids every time I go to SAE now.
Wow, that is amazing, amazing, Jeremy. Jeremy, so now that you've got all this success, I remember you mentioned about how people are saying, "Oh, you're changing." People are saying, "Oh, I want to be like you one day," or "If I was on your level." And I remember you said, "Well, why can't people think that they're on that level? Why do people just assume because you have some success, you're doing well, that oh, I wish I could be on your level?" Why do we think that way? What needs to change so people won't be threatened by someone else's success, and then they can realize that they can accomplish that on their own as well?
I think what people need to start doing and realizing is if don't try to be like someone else. Just get inspired by what these people are doing. Go to them and ask questions. Like this is the three things that I tell people when I'm going to speak to these students. And this is the three things that I live by and has gotten me through and is still getting me through to whatever goal that I'm trying to achieve. Is number one is you ask all of the questions that you need to ask pertaining to what you're trying to do, whether it's you being a doctor, whether it's you being the next Angel McCoughtry, whether it's you being whatever you want to be. You ask all the questions. Two, you obtain all of that knowledge from those questions that you asked, and you jot down your goals. You know what I'm saying? You have your overall goal, which is I want to be the next Angel McCoughtry. All right, cool. You want to be the next Angel McCoughtry, but what are the steps that you need to take to actually get to this level? Those are your small term goals. And I like small term goals because the overall goal is still obtainable, but the small term goals are very, they're not, I'm not gonna say very easy to obtain, but they're easier to obtain than the overall goal, right? So obtain all the knowledge that you receive from asking those questions. You jot down your plan, you make a plan. And number three, in all caps, is execute. You know, you shut down, you keep your head down, but still keep it up and just work to whatever you're trying to achieve. For me, it was audio. I said, what do I need to do to get to this point? So me, for people who know me, I'm a social butterfly. I would talk to any and everybody because in audio, everyone needs audio because everyone has a voice. So how do they have that? Well, how do they get that voice to be heard? You need some form of audio. You need some form of audio equipment to get your voice heard. So keep your head down. Don't let anybody park your drive. That's the number one thing. Don't let anybody park your drive. While you're on your journey, if somebody is tapping you on your shoulder, you make the decision whether to turn around and answer that question. Because 9 times out of 10, it's going to be those, oh, I'm trying to be like you, or, man, you changed on me. You don't need that type of energy around you. Positive energy is the only thing that you need around you because positive energy is the hardest thing to kind of keep around you because negative energy is so contagious. Like once it gets into your circle, it spreads like a plague. I'm telling you.
You know what? I really like that. I really think that's so important that, our thinking is so powerful. And I know my dad was saying the other day, negative thoughts are going to come in our heads, right? Because we're human. But what you do is you don't feed into it and you don't, like you said, you don't let it spread into your mind or spread it out to others like a plague. You erase it right away when you see it coming. You know what I mean? Because it's going to come. We're human. My next question to you is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Like, what do you see yourself doing? Do you see yourself doing the same things? Or what are your goals in the next few years?
Well, Angel, that's my process in the 3 questions that I just told people to ask themselves. So not only can you keep using, the methods that I use, like you can keep using them. So I've already used mine. So now it's like, all right, in the next 5 years, where do I see myself? So I'm asking questions about things that I want. I won't disclose that because it's not set in stone. But I do want to be, my overall goal is to be, well, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to say that right now. But I've told you before, but right now I'm just in 5 years, I don't really know where I see myself. It's still going to be in audio, but it's going to take me, this platform is going to take me to places that I probably never even imagined going. But I do know, I'm putting in the universe now. I want to work the Essence Fest in New Orleans this year. I want to work, for NBC this year. I want to work the Olympics next year too. So I'm putting that in the universe as well.
All right. Well, you just put out in the universe. So what we're going to do, Jeremy, is when those things happen, we're going to bring you back on the show and be able to talk about those amazing things. So say those things one more time. You want to accomplish what?
I want to work for NBC. I want to work for the Olympics next year. I want to work Essence Fest. And I think that's all I said.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. You heard his goals. You saw he put it out in the universe. And when those things happen, we're going to bring him back, and we're going to show you guys that what you manifest and what you put out there, it can come true. So, Jeremy, I want to thank you so much for coming in today and sharing your experiences, how you got to where you are. We're so proud of you. You're making the city of Atlanta sound great. And hopefully we'll bring you back on the show when those things come to life.
I appreciate y'all. Well, I appreciate you, the AMEC experience, everybody that's a part of this project. Officialize everybody. But if you want to follow the kid, I am on Facebook at Jeremy Hart, parentheses, the engineer. I'm on Instagram, which is Homer_J Saucin. You know, like Homer J Simpson, just with the saucin at the end. And my handle for Twitter is also Homer J Saucin. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to DM me. If you really are serious about what you're trying to do, DM me. I will answer them. I will tell you, just tell me your situation. And if I can help you in any way possible, I will most definitely help you. And I'm looking for interns too. Heart Note Productions LLC is looking for interns. So if you guys are interested in that as well, you guys can hit me up on all my social media platforms that I just named, which is Facebook, Jeremy Hart, parentheses, the engineer, Homer J Saucin, on Twitter and Instagram.
All right, guys, you heard it here first. You got his social media feed. Please hit him up for any questions, or if you're interested in being
stagehand. I need a manager as well. I need well, first just those two right now, just those two, because I have other ventures that I'm going to be doing. Oh yeah, and I'm going to be doing vending machines soon. So I will disclose that I will put that out here on the AMAC experience. I will be investing in vending machines this year.
Awesome. So we'll make sure we put that out on our page as well. Make sure you follow him at Homer J Saucin. Hey, he's looking for interns and different things. So if you're looking for some opportunities, make sure you hit this guy up. Thank you again, Jeremy, for coming. And we are so excited of the amazing things you have going on and going to do. And we will be watching and updating our fans on your amazing journey. Hey, here we are, y'all. That completes our session on Amazing Entrepreneurs. Jay Hart here. I'll see you guys soon.